Welcome back to the most even division in football, the NFC East, where the Washington Commanders just went to MetLife and left the game with a tie along with our New York Giants. And I tweeted this out earlier. I said the only W that the Washington Commanders are going to be leaving with out of MetLife is that logo. And that's the facts. But I did not think that the New York Giants weren't going to leave with the victory. And in return, the New York Giants up 7 points at the end of this game. They end the game with 6 straight punts and a missed field goal to win the game by Graham Gano, who's normally automatic. We saw Graham Gano beat us when he was in Carolina with a 63-yard field goal. We've seen Graham Gano do this time and time again and be able to make field goals to win games. Without further ado, let me bring in the most even co-host in the whole damn country, Mr. Beard himself. How you feeling about this effing tie?
I'm emotionally drained. I'm still kind of like in shock. I mean, first of all, for Washington, we were out of it. Okay, like I'm sitting here like fourth quarter, like it's a wrap. I mean, there was some big plays on third down. The third down sack, obviously, which kept you guys out of field goal range to put that up to 10-0 late in the fourth quarter. Yep. That was huge.
Huge.
I mean, besides that, I'm like, there's no way. And then I will tell you, the fourth down, on fourth down, I was screaming at the television, why are we not punting? Our defense has been playing lights out for, like you said, like 6 drives in a row. And they decided to go for it on fourth down. I'm like, oh, no,
yeah, they still had 3 timeouts.
3
at that
timeouts
point too.
And a 2-minute warning.
What did you think about the Giants' decision to punt it on 4th and 3 after the weird play between Richie James and Saquon Barkley in the backfield?
I think it was at that point in time in the overtime, I thought it was a good decision because there was such little time left. And then if I'm a Giants fan, I'm thinking, okay, Heineke's magic he used his lifeline, okay?
Yeah, he did use his lifeline in the fourth quarter with the play to Jahan Dotson. Great play by Jahan Dotson. A beautiful spin to score.
Dotson. And what's crazy is in the beginning of that game, I tweeted immediately after the first catch. I said, man, is it great to have Jahan Dotson back in the mix just because and listen, we talked about this, how even these two teams are. The gnome might have helped y'all a little bit today.
What do you think? You think he helped us, or is he at fault for this tie?
I think he helped you guys, to be perfectly honest.
He might have helped you guys too, right?
And bookend tackles brings up a great point about the getting cute with the play call there. Both offensive coordinators are just, they should be yelled at.
Big time.
Because there was at times on both sides where, they were getting cute. Way too cute.
Like, we got to talk about the first half, the way that the Giants end the first half. I was livid. I tweeted this out. I screenshotted a couple of tweets just so I could come back to them. I said, we've seen this before. There's 2 minutes and 33 seconds left in this first half. The Giants are down by 3, and the Commanders get the ball at the half. This is a window. Go score some points or put yourself in position to be down, or you'll put yourself in position to be down by 2 scores in the third quarter and pressing. Now, they get down there. Third down, and I think it was a 3rd and 1. You got 14 seconds left on the clock, and they've run some weirdo Daniel Jones quarterback draw play. Why not just take the shot at the end zone if you're going to end up having to spike the ball there? They barely get back up to the line. Could you imagine if we pulled like a Jalen Hurts? I don't know if you remember that game against Green Bay, I believe it was, like a year ago, where they just straight up failed right before the half, and we don't come away with any points there. You guys probably walk away with a victory in this one. And I'm just scratching my head looking at this coaching staff. at different points of this game, we know that the Darius Slayton play is going to be a big topic of discussion, especially the way that, the talk surrounding the quarterback has been in New York. And you wait literally until your last ditch effort, until the Washington Commanders score and tie that game up, to really start trying to take some shots. And when you take those shots, you're literally keeping all the clock for the Washington Commanders to try to drive down and get another score there before regulation. There were so many spots in this game where I was just looking at the coaching staff, like on both sides. I mean, obviously you talked about it with the Commanders as well, because you guys tried to get cute there at the end of the game. We were talking about this when we were on the phone briefly about running these little screen passes y'all were running when the vertical passing game seemed to be working, and the Giants defense really had no answer. Everyone in the Giants community on Twitter was like, oh, they're going to drive down here and kick this game-winning field goal.
And so I will tell you what's crazy is, we talked about how a lot of Giants fans were worried about Curtis Samuel. And at the end of the game, Curtis Samuel was huge. He just,
He was. And I think Giants fans were worried for the wrong reasons. A lot of the people in the spaces, that when I was talking on that spaces the other day, a lot of people were saying, oh, he's going to be a factor in the running game. And he really wasn't a factor till late. And you saw he did break a couple of runs, but those third downs, the 4th and 4 that Taylor Heineke converted in your own territory to Samuel.
Where I thought we were going to punt.
Yeah, I thought that was a crazy-ass call, to keep it real. That was a crazy call, but you end up converting it, so I think a lot of people might overlook that, come Monday morning and not really look at that as a play that really extended the drive, but to me, that was one of the big differences there. And
it was the biggest play. It was the biggest play of the game. That 4th down pass was the biggest play of the game, because he starts rolling out. I'm like, oh god.
It looked like the Giants had it covered too.
Where is he going to go? I didn't even, because Samuel wasn't even in the picture. Like I didn't know where he was going to go with it, and then he came away with it. It was a lot of weird play calling on both sides of the field, and it's just like, it was almost like, you wanted them to run the ball, they passed the ball. You wanted them to pass the ball, they ran the ball.
Right.
And Daniel Jones made some throws. Why
he definitely made a
him?
couple of throws. And he, outside of now, I know a lot of people are going to talk about this too, right? The fumble is critical. I know it was early, but the fumble could be the difference in this game when you look back at it, and the missed field goal by the Washington Commanders. I think that was like just under a 50-yarder. But both of those plays, to me, the Giants are rolling. We're right around midfield at that point, and you just fumble the ball. And for me, in the biggest spot of your career, you got to know to put two hands on the ball there and protect the ball. I thought that was a big blunder from Daniel Jones. But then the way that he bounced back in that first half, I think he ended the first half 12 for 12. He was perfect. And he only had an incompletion late through this game because of a spike in the ball. Like this, he was definitely playing some good football. There was that one throw on 3rd down in the tight window after the 2 missed bombs to Darius Slayton. To me, the pass to Darius Slayton, the one that wasn't caught, that you could call it a drop, you could call it whatever you want. The ball is a bit high, and if Darius Slayton comes away with that catch, to me, you're talking about a spectacular catch. It reminded me of the helmet catch a little bit, because it was up there.
100%.
That's what I was thinking when he had it. And then I thought it hit his foot, and he still caught it.
I was losing my mind, because we talked about this. I want to say we talked about it on Thursday, when I was like, I had talked about, I'm not necessarily worried, right, about St. Juste being out, only because of the lack of weapons offensively at the wide receiver position that the New York Giants had.
Yeah.
But I was worried because I thought that the old Washington defense was going to come out where they would give up the big plays. And we saw it on a couple of occasions on some big plays in this game. It just, I mean, there were some penalties on both sides of Feliciano, obviously, the penalty.
Oh yeah, which was huge.
Big shout out to Nick the Wick for the $4.99. Says, no. You guys are missing it. The flag on Feliciano took away all the momentum and ultimately knocked us out of field goal range.
Yeah, that was horrible. But this is the same story with the New York Giants over and over again. Why is it that after our games, we can literally go back and look at 1 or 2 plays every game? The conservative play calling in the fourth quarter, especially by the New York Giants in this game, it's pathetic. It's literally pathetic that you wait literally until the last-ditch effort for your quarterback to actually start throwing the ball. To me, Daniel Jones looked comfortable. There were times where Washington got some pressure, especially early on in this game, and especially late too. You did see a little bit of pressure there, but he seemed to be handling it well. And my thing is, like, allow your quarterback to go out there and make these plays. But at the same time, there were a couple of drives there, a couple of 3-and-outs there where you're like, the penalties are kicking both of these teams in the ass and literally stalling out drives. I'd say more for you guys, but there was a couple penalties there, and then a couple of just questionable play calls, like where you I did like the shotgun draw plays they were running to Saquon Barkley in this game, but sometimes late in that game they would run them at an inopportune time, and then you see Saquon just bump into one of his linemen and lose like 6 yards. You got to go out there and this was a playoff atmosphere type game.
Oh, this
you
was a
go
playoff
out there
game,
and
for
go
sure.
win the damn game, which is why I thought on 4th and 3 late in the game, I know I would have gave y'all the win, but to settle for a tie in this game it rubbed me the wrong way. It really rubbed me the wrong way that they played so conservative down the stretch. And like I said, 6 punts, man, and then a missed field goal. And as soon as they gave Daniel Jones the opportunity in overtime, not even gave him, you have to let him go out there and try to gunsling it as much as you can with no time left on the clock. Look what they do. They start moving the ball. The Washington Commanders kind of try to get back in a little bit of a prevent defense. You see a little bit of success, and it's just unlike Graham Gano to miss that field goal there. But when I saw Hefe tweet out that the Giants had 6 opportunities back to back to back to back to back, I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Literally, every drive for the New York Giants there is 20-20, all the way dating back into the third quarter. You cannot allow that, and these coaches got to find a way. Die on it, man. Stop being so conservative. Just go out there and just die on it. Let these players make the plays. And I will say this. Without Wink Martindale, this team is garbage. Without Wink Martindale, this team is straight up garbage, and they're pathetic because this defense really, with a core that was banged up with no Adoree Jackson in this game. You saw it. They got a rookie out there, an undrafted free agent rookie playing slot all day long. And that's why Jahan Dotson handled him.
It took us 3.5 quarters to finally really go at that guy.
Yeah, it really did. And for me, it's just extremely frustrating that when you're strapped for talent out there, right? I'm just sick of trying to make up excuses for this football team. We saw the kid Isaiah Hodgins today had a day. Mm-hmm. He had that third down where he was supposed to be stopped on that third down. The ball is short of the sticks. He finds a way to get that first down. The little corner route that he did, if you want to call it a Z out, maybe like a little short 7 route. I mean, a great route, great throw by Daniel Jones. Let's see more of it, man. Stop being so conservative out here. The running game was not working all day, and our offensive line was being owned, I would say, for the most part in the running game. I like the adjustment that they did in the second half with the little delayed shotgun draw plays. I thought they saw some success on that. But then Kafka goes and runs them 3 times back to back to back, and on the third one, Saquon ends up losing 6 yards. That's what stalls out the drive.
It's mirror. It's a mirror. Like sometimes I feel you because that's like what I have to witness with Washington.
Yeah,
it's just like
sure.
Especially there was the one drive where 2 plays. On the first play, the right side, a line of scrimmage pass. The next play, they go to the left side to a line of scrimmage pass. Now you're sitting at 3rd and 12.
Yeah, man, oh my God, for New York. Wink Martindale, I'm gonna reiterate that again. Wink Martindale, everybody else on this coaching staff needs to be under a microscope. All this praise that myself included have been giving guys like Brian Dable and Mike Kafka, we need to remove all of that because offensively, this team is a joke, man. Straight up, this team is a joke offensively. But defensively, the impact of Ojulari in this game,
oh my God,
he is on a whole. I like Kayvon Thibodeau. Great play at the end of that game by Kayvon Thibodeau, but a veteran edge rusher is not just going to go for the tackle on a quarterback like Taylor Heineke. He's going for the strip sack. He literally was unblocked because y'all center ended up going out to drive before. So you guys had a backup center in there calling the signals, which is probably why he was unblocked. You got to go out there and make that strip sack or at least make an attempt to do it. Instead, he just sacks him on the 1-yard line, and then y'all ended up digging yourselves out of that with Brian Robinson and some runs.
I thought it was over. I thought it was over after that.
It's so frustrating, but Ojulari is next level. Ojulari is, they better find a way to bring that guy back. He's a key piece on this team that you got to keep moving forward, all these young guys. And Kayvon Thibodeau, I disagreed with Entertainer when Tainer said that Kayvon Thibodeau is a young puppy trying to learn how to walk. And I was like, man, we in the NFL, we can't be talking about no young puppies. But Entertainer was spot on. Kayvon Thibodeau is a young puppy because there are so many things about the game today where I was looking at him like, how are you not sealing the edge, bro? They running right at you. They are literally running right at you. He got to hit the weight room in the offseason. He's had a decent year. Great game against Dallas. And he, who is it? Tim from Online Big Blue that always says Kayvon Thibodeau is the king of the almost sack. I don't know if he might even use that for Leonard Williams. I could be wrong on that. But it just seems like Kayvon Thibodeau's always right there next to the quarterback, and he just can't get there and finish out the plays. And a lot of it seems to me that it has to do with strength. But this team, I don't care who's out there. I told this to Diggy on Twitter as well. I'm sick of the excuses of, oh, we got Best Buy receivers. Oh, we're injured here. Oh, man, all these dudes got to the NFL off the strength of talent, man. I don't care if they're not top-tier talent or not. You got to just find a way to believe in this team. I know this offense is looking at it like, how can we go down a stretch and play such a conservative game? And honestly, if Daniel Jones would have done his best impersonation of Mac Jones in this game, I wouldn't have been too mad because he should have been on that sideline kirking out and asking for the opportunity to be able to put this team on his back. But at the same time, when he's getting some of these windows, you see a quarterback that's sometimes just failing. The third down sack late in this game. You can't take a sack with everything on the line on third down. Find a way, man. My thing is like, I'm sick of just making up excuses for every position and every game coming down to some one play that we can look at. Just like the last Washington game from last season when we're like, oh, man, you know, Slayton in the drop. It's the same exact thing. And I already see it on Twitter. The narrative's already running around. It's an easy catch. You got to make that catch. It's a drop. You're tucking the ball away. Man, that difficulty, that's a 9 out of 10 right there to try to make that play. For him to even be able to be in position to jump up and make that and get both hands on it, sticky hands at first, and then he just can't come down with it because his whole trajectory of his body's tipping over. I'm going to give him a pass on that one. I'm not going to sit here and say that the pass from Daniel Jones was awful, nothing like that. And I got to go back and look at it myself. But live, when I looked at it, you could see that the ball was high right off the bat. And Darius Slayton, the way that he loaded up the jump, I literally was having them Super Bowl flashbacks. I'm like, here it goes.
It was right in the same spot on the field, too.
Same spot.
Pretty much.
You got to find ways to connect. And that's been the story of the New York Giants this entire year. They're about this close.
Yeah, and we're at this is week 13 that's ending right now. So, like, your frustration of reaching that boiling point of, you know, I'm tired. You know, I don't care who's out there. Like, that's it. We're week 13. It's different in maybe week 6. Week 5.
Very different.
You know what I'm saying?
Very different.
Week 13, it's like we are in the middle of a playoff push. Everybody has to do what they have to do in order to win. Big shout out to Nick the Wick for $4.99 super chat. Says, how many times do we have to try a toss to see that it doesn't effing work?
It's weird because the toss was kind of working early in the game. You saw the one where Saquon kind of just sat behind his blockers on the outside the whole time, tiptoed, picked up 9 yards. But then there are a lot of times, I got to agree with Nick the Wick as well, like there are a lot of times where it just don't work. But trying to run the ball between the tackles and between the guards today was pitiful. Let me pull up the box because what did Saquon end up with on the day?
And I want to say probably had under 20 touches, I'd imagine.
63 yards on 18 carries, 3.5 yards a carry in the early touchdown. The longest carry of the day was the 21-yarder. And that might have been, that wasn't a touchdown. The touchdown I feel like was maybe from like 14 or 15 out, maybe, something like that.
Yeah. It was a nice run, though. I'm not going to lie.
It was a very nice run. Very nice run. And they committed. You know, I give them that. They committed to the run as much as they could. And it's weird. They got away from it. This short passing scheme, the short passing scheme is killing me. It's so predictable. Like these tight ends, Daniel Bellinger comes back in the lineup. It just became so predictable. Like, he's just going to block, leak out, try to get y'all were just picking that shit up the whole third quarter. And I'm just looking at this game like it's right there for the taking. Let this kid drop back and die on throwing the ball down the field. Just let it happen.
I mean, he can obviously do it. I don't think... maybe it's, obviously coming from an outside, source, but I watch a lot of Giants football, obviously, because of what we do here. And I'm very in tune to it. It's so funny because you can tell people who don't only watch a certain team's games and don't really pay attention to anything else.
Right.
When Daniel Jones fumbles on the first possession, it was like, I saw somebody on Twitter say, there's one thing you can always count on: death, taxes, and Danny fumbling. And I'm like, you obviously have not been watching football.
See, and I got to quote a bar from my man Chaz one time where he says, see, y'all in it for likes, but we in it for life. Because that's the kind of tweet you put out there when you literally just trying to garnish some attention. At the end of the day, Daniel Jones played a good game and a good enough game for this team to put the ball in his hands. Now, I know there were some problems up front. Obviously, Glowinski was having some issues all day. The interior of the offensive line was having some troubles, But I just feel like they were finding ways to be able to buy Daniel Jones time. Let him throw the ball, man. Spread it out. Let him throw the ball. Because this whole, keeping the restraints on him and keeping the leash on him, it's one of two things. Either you don't believe in the way that this passing attack can move with these wide receivers, and to me, to my eye, what I saw in this game today, Richie James able to get open, Isaiah Hodgins able to get open? Why can't we just stretch the field and throw the ball? And even the third down pickup that Daniel Jones got late in that game, I only saw it from the tight angle, but it seemed like the throw was a little bit behind him. And Richie James makes a decent play on that, man. He kind of jumped up, reminded me of Wan'Dale Robinson a little bit, the way he jumped and then caught it on his like back hip kind of and made a great catch out of it, and just die on it, man. Stop. These coaches they're coaching it like Joe Judge, man. Like they're scared to lose the game. You're up by 7 in this game. I counted the amount of windows. I tweeted out one time, right? Because I just kept screenshotting every time we had an opportunity. I was like, big stop by the defense. Thank you, Logan Thomas. Here's a window to get a real hold of this game and try to push it to a 2-score lead. Nope. Punt. Commanders moving the ball. More penalties. Big stop by the defense. Missed field goal by Washington. Then, ... with everything on the line, up by 7 points. That might be the worst drive the New York Giants put together by the whole team, by the whole game. I just don't understand, like, when you get in these clutch moments, what is going on with this team? You either get penalties or you get tackles for loss. You get Saquon Barkley running into his own blocker. The play at the end of the game with Richie James and Saquon Barkley, everything is on the line. What are we doing? How do you not know how to line up on your last-ditch effort of, I believe it was regulation?
Yeah, it was. And big shout out to Sebastian for the $1.99 super chat. Says Kafka calls plays like he doesn't trust Jones.
Right.
It's very, very interesting. And big shout out to BK23 for the $4.99 super chat. Says, love how DJ came back after the fumble. I really hate the play calls. You're right on the money to conservative. When we go up and Ojulari is looking good.
Yeah, Ojulari's looking great, man. Shout out to BK23 one time, man, for that super chat. Definitely appreciate that, fam. This is the most frustrating game. I told you the Atlanta Falcons game against y'all last week was the most, like, heated I've been all year long, right? And I'm just like, Commanders got to lose this game. And this game topped it. We literally walked out of this game. Somebody told me, you should pick a tie. I can't remember who it was, but somebody on Twitter.
Joe Deals in the chat this morning said it was going to be a tie.
Oh, my God, man. I cannot believe that game went down to a tie.
I thought Taylor Heineke was going to give it back to you guys. There was like 2 or 3 very close interceptions in overtime.
Oh, yeah. Fabian Moreau had his hands on one, too. Bobbled up, fell on the ground, didn't get it. The one play where I think it was, I can't remember who got to him. It might have been either Tibbs or Ojulari. I can't remember who got to him. But the ball went like straight up in the air. And Dexter Lawrence kind of was like falling over. He kind of had like a maybe opportunity to maybe, get an interception there. But there were a lot of throws there. And remember, I tweeted out this one to you too during the game where I was like, talking about Taylor Heineke being a stoner and, the high throws. He had that drive where 2 throws were high. Julian Love had a bit of an opportunity on it. He seemed like he didn't want to play the ball because, if you got a high reception, it was Terry McLaurin. Oh, and we can't go without talking about Terry McLaurin because Terry McLaurin, I mean, I talked about this. You got to stop 17. Well, they didn't stop 17. He had 8 receptions, 105 yards, a touchdown, averaging 13.1 per reception on 12 targets. He was killing us all damn day. And there were times there where Wink Martindale was just like refusing to like put somebody over there on top, and just putting man-to-man coverage on him or soft zone on that side and just trying to limit him. We knew what the game plan was for the Commanders here. Brian Robinson, Terry McLaurin. And we didn't do a great job of stopping Brian Robinson. His average kind of fell in the fourth quarter because we knew we had to sell out to stop him. 21 carries for 96 yards, 4.6 per rush. At one point in the third quarter, he was averaging 5.5 yards a carry.
And it's just it's frustrating because the way that game started out,
control.
I was like, oh, here we go. Awthentik is about to be angry. And then it just that's the thing that gets me the most about coaches. It's like you see what's working. And then you get just away like, from it. Oh, this is too easy. Let me go try and make things a little bit more harder on myself.
And Stan is my witness. When it was 10-0, I was calm and reserved, bro. A lot of football left. I kept saying that to myself. A lot of football left. But where it started to go wrong for me was the last drive of the second quarter.
I don't understand the play call. And what's interesting is that you saw or heard Jonathan Vilma like trying to basically like, I don't know if you had the same broadcast or not.
Oh yeah, I did.
They were trying to, he's basically trying to cop and it was like, yeah, that's great great job. It's exactly what I thought they were going to do. And in the back of my head, I'm like,
Did you hear Scott Hansen on Red Zone?
No.
He
I have Red Zone a little bit lower.
He was completely the opposite. Like, whoa, little time management problem there. You know how he'd be like kind of thrown off a little bit. He was like, there was time management problem there. And then you got Vilma, I know he played football and stuff, but he's had a couple of those kind of moments before. There were people in my mentions too saying like, oh, but if you try to take a shot there and Daniel Jones throws an interception, dog, this is not like JV football, man.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
They're getting paid to make plays.
He's a quarterback. He's the quarterback. His job is to throw the ball. I mean,
and if you roll out and you just throw the ball away, so what?
Yeah,
you're
I'm sure
actually
he
in the
knows
easiest
that.
position you could possibly be in, because I'd have rolled Daniel Jones out. If you see it, take it. If it's not there,
you don't need the touchdown.
It's
not like a fourth
he's
quarter.
He's had experience with that, DeBeard. You remember the Pittsburgh game where he rolled out and tried to throw it out the back of the end zone, got intercepted? You remember the Washington game where he tried to roll out and throw it out the back of the end zone, and I forget who it was, did the little toe touch in the back, got the he's got experience screwing up that situation a billion times, man. He's not going to mess that up. Let him roll out. Your coach has got to design a good play that's a safe play at the same time, and if he don't got it there, throw it away. Here's the crazy part. They did it at the end of the game before the field goal. 10 seconds left. Daniel Jones rolls out the pocket trying to get about 5 more yards for Graham Gano.
Yeah,
you don't see it. He sailed it out of bounds. I just don't understand. One, I don't understand these coaches. But two, the people who like just can't see the game like and just – it was 3rd and 1. Why are you running a quarterback draw? You might as well just spike the ball there or just kick the damn field goal if you're going to do that. If you're going to settle for 3 there on 3rd and 1 with 14 seconds left in that half, just kick the damn field goal. What's the point of running the play? To get a first down that's meaningless?
Well, he might throw an interception. Yeah, he also might bobble the snap. You know,
anything
the
could go
snap
wrong
might
if you
go
think it like
over his
that.
head. Yeah, it's just like saying, like, you know, I can get hit by a car if I cross the road. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my
like,
God. Yeah. Oh, and we know that fans are irrational. When Xavier McKinney breaks his hand on a goddamn ATV in Cabo, people are like, you could slip in the shower every day. Dog. You know I can't with y'all, right? You know I can't with y'all, right? Like, you know that, like, there's too many people that are talking about football, and I'm not saying I'm some guru at the game or anything, but there's too many people that are talking about football that y'all don't even play Madden. Because you wouldn't manage the clock like that in Madden, man. You really would not manage the clock like that in Madden. And when I see the way that this offense is operating, man, I just really want to take all the Odell Beckham talk, crumble it up, and just throw that shit in the garbage, man. Wait till next year. I don't even care about the Odell Beckham stuff now. The way you see that they don't have no faith in this offense to throw the ball, it's ridiculous. They're literally turning Daniel. Yo, you were at Stein in 9th grade, right? When I played JV quarterback in 10th grade, right?
Yeah.
So the way that we played football back then, right? We didn't throw the ball that much. No. So every time you threw the ball, it looked like what we saw today from Mike Kafka and Daniel Jones. Everything was a boot. Everything was get you out of the pocket and try to make a short little easy throw and trying to make everything easy on a quarterback. Little waggles, little look-ins, little out routes. You know what I'm saying? You had the fade route. Hey, if you see the one-on-one, just chuck it up. I swear to God, 99% of the time I threw the fade route when I was at Einstein, I literally was just like hoping. I couldn't even gauge if they were open or not. I'm just like, hey, Moss, I hope you catch this joint. I'm just throwing it up.
You were Taylor
like, we're dealing with the
Heineke.
NFL quarterback here, man. Let the kid go out there and make the mistakes. I think that they're so concerned with protecting the way that he plays. And I really, this game showed me that it's really like not on Daniel Jones. Like, he ain't scared to throw it. You saw the 3rd down after the 2 misses to Darius Slayton, threw the ball, not the good one. I'm talking about the bad one. The one that was in traffic where y'all almost intercepted it and it really would have ended the game. Yeah. But hell, I'd rather go out dying like that than seeing you guys run these little 3-yard, 4-yard routes. Look at Taylor Heineke on the other side of the ball, and I know your offensive coordinator got away from it. But when you guys got man-to-man coverage in the slot, Taylor Heineke was eating that shit up.
Yeah, every time you guys sent the blitz from that side, he went right to Sarah McLaurin.
Yeah, man. And then Wink, and I'm talking about more the ones to Curtis Samuel too, because they would run him out the slot on these little crosser routes, and then Wink was like, you know what? We're not just gonna send these semi blitzes. I'm bringing the damn house. I'm bringing the house. And that's when Taylor Heineke started to get a little bit rattled in the pocket, kind of started to kind of crumble to the pressure a little bit. I think y'all center going out in this game is going to be a little bit overlooked too, because the way that offense completely fell apart when you're, who is that, Tyler Landon or something?
Larson.
Tyler Lawson, who got carted off.
Yeah.
I think when he went out the game, the whole, momentum of y'all offense just started to slow way down, and then Kayvon Thibodeau gets that big sack. Y'all dug yourself out of it too, man, but one of the most frustrating game from the New York Giants, man.
Big shout out to Lax044 for the $4.99 super chat. Says, I'll take the tie because the way the Giants played today, they deserved to lose.
100. You hit that's the target emoji right there, bro. That's the target emoji, because we definitely deserve to lose that game. And I'm sure that you could feel the same way, Beard, about your team, because you get off to is that Chase? You get off to a 10-point lead in this game, and you could control it. You could really control this game. And I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened to the Washington Commanders offense there in the second quarter, and just defensively too, allowed us to get back in the game. And I like that adjustment from Kafka. He found ways to get Daniel Jones some time, and things started clicking because the running game really wasn't there all day long. There was about one drive, the touchdown drive in the second half for the Giants. I feel like they found a way to get Saquon moving a little bit, and then Daniel Jones took advantage of them, of the Commanders being a little bit off balance, and that's when you got that touchdown to I can't remember if that was the second half or the first half, the one that was to Isaiah Hodgins on the little corner route.
This is the other thing too. So,
yeah, that was in the second quarter. Actually, that one was in the second quarter.
And you also got to remember the way that the Giants start the second half. I mean, the turnover, Taylor Heineke, as good as it could possibly have gone for you guys,
best way to start out.
At that point in time, it's so funny because it was literally Washington started out the second half like how the Giants started out the first half.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
From the fumble to the other team taking it down, scoring. Once again, though, Washington's red zone horrendous. The New York Giants stopped moving. At one point, I kept saying we got to hold them to 3 was the theme of the day, because it was just there was so many opportunities that people just kept blundering, and
for y'all, the penalties, bro. The penalties were
bad.
They were at the
especially
worst
in the second
times,
half.
especially in the second half. And I thought the referees left a couple penalties out there, man. There were the offensive pass interference non-call on, I believe that was Jahan Dotson, who was literally gripping Fabian Moreau, I think that was, by the shoulder pads, just missing calls. And we talked about it on Twitter a little bit.
Yeah, because I want to before. First of all, okay, because we were going back and forth about giving each other our penalties, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So the Logan Thomas block in the back, that
Terrible.
was a terrible call. Okay.
Terrible call.
And the first, I think we agree on every single call except for the Terry McLaurin pass interference. That's the only call that I think you and I disagree on. What makes you? I'm just curious of why you saw that. What makes you think that we saw that differently?
To me, the contact was not initiated by Fabian Moreau on that one. The pass is so bad that Terry McLaurin's trying to get off the defender to get back to the ball. I thought it was a good, man, when I saw the flag go out on the field, I damn near broke my television, bro. I'm just again? I'm looking
especially
at Fabian Moreau
because it came from on that same drive as the penalty earlier
in
that drive.
Same exact drive, man. And I mean, honestly, I'd have to go back and really, really look at it one more time. But live, if you're not, these referees were just a little bit off today, man. The one that I was talking about with the Fabian Moreau one on the sideline, the referee is right there, bro.
Isn't it? To me, it's always crazy when they're showing you the replay and it's the camera pans. And it pans right in front of the back of the head of the referee, and he's
right. He's just standing there
and you're
I don't care what kind of call y'all
You're
want.
in the same line as the camera right now. Why are you not seeing this?
Oh man, such a frustrating game. But y'all were 1 for 2 in the red zone. The Giants were 2 of 3 in the red zone. And time of possession again. This is why the Washington Commanders are the number 1 team as far as time of possession in the league.
And
it's
didn't
41
feel
minutes.
like it. It did not feel like it.
I think that had a lot to do with the second half.
Yeah.
Yo, the second half.
I'd like to see what the breakdown is between first half and second half. Big shout out to Jason Ferris for the $2 super chat. Says the casino had them pick up that pass interference flag.
The casino. They made that call in like, nah, y'all better pick that flag up. We need this one a little tighter.
And see, like, I think that's the other thing that makes it so bad is that, like, if they would have never thrown the flag, half of America's never going to see that penalty, right?
Right.
Or non-penalty, however, whichever side of the fence you're on.
When you see that paint, you go, oh, yeah. I know Washington fans are like,
and then they pick it up, and you're like, what? Why? I don't understand. And, like, I mean, I do want to, I want to save some of this obviously for, this week, but I have to, because of the type of person that I am. I'm not going to, I have to tip my hat a little bit to Taylor Heineke.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how the hell he does it.
I don't know how he does it either. And honestly, the drive where y'all were digging yourself out and whatnot, and some of those throws that he missed high, he's just barely missing it. And it just seems because he's a shorter quarterback, that trajectory, he gets a little pressure, gets a little rattled there because he missed 2 throws on that same drive, man. And I'm just looking at it like, yo, if you make those throws, you're going to break the back of this Giants defense. We were more frightened than y'all were. Matt Emery was texting me during the game. He was like, I think it's going to end in a tie. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way it's going to tie. Y'all are going to drive down and kick the field goal to beat us, man. Like, and y'all were moving the ball. There were so many drives there that were killed by penalties for the Washington Commanders late in this game. But when you just look at the Giants, man, in that, second half, you come out the gate, you get the touchdown on a short field. The Giants are awful at driving the field and scoring touchdowns. We got the fumble on Taylor Heineke or whatever, and we're already pretty much in the red zone. It's a 5-play touchdown drive, 2 minutes, 37 seconds. Outside of that, you go 3 plays, punt. 3 plays, let me give you the yardage. 3 plays, 9 yards, punt. 3 plays, -5 yards, punt. 4 plays, -2 yards, punt. 3 plays, 0 yards, punt. 1 play, and then you end it. It's over. Fourth quarter's over. Then you go 4 plays for 9 yards and punt. And then you go 7 plays for 36 yards and punt. Then 5 plays for 17 yards and miss a field goal. I've never seen – this is why Giants fans are like, we lost that game even though we got the tie. That's why right there. No yardage. Awful 3-and-outs. Back to back. Just what are we doing out there? I'm starting to say to myself, it's not just the talent. It's not just the talent that's the problem here. This reminded me of a Joe Judge coached game.
Someone told me we have 50 yards of total offense in the second half. Not sure how true that is, but if it is, the way that those drives were just broken down by Awthentik, y'all might be lucky if y'all even got 50 yards.
I could do the math like right now with it because you got the first drive you had, let me go to the end of the second quarter. So you had 20 yards. Then you had 9 yards. That's 29 yards. Then you lost 5 yards. That's 24. Then you lost 2 yards. That's 22 yards. No yards on the next drive. You lost a yard on the next drive. So that's 21. It's only 21 yards in the second half without overtime. It's 21 yards, bro, on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drives. You got 21 yards. Whoever that was that just brought that up, shout out to you because I'm going to dig all up in those numbers right now. Shout out to Fob Blizzard one time in the building. Listen, a message to the whole entire New York Giants organization. That is absolutely pathetic. That is pathetic. That is pathetic.
Oh, man. Big shout out to Nick the Wick for the $1.99 cents super chat. Says Dable isn't as nearly as ballsy as before, and I hate it.
I can't stand it. And then he unraveled. I want to see the Feliciano penalty from the 22-man cam because he flexed his biceps, right? I wonder if he was to me on the TV broadcast.
I couldn't see it on the broadcast.
When they replayed it, it showed a close-up on him from you could see the back of his jersey. He flexed both his biceps. To me, it looked like he was doing that to Darius Slayton. But I got to see the 22-man cam.
And listen, is it beneficial to me and my team at that point in time? Absolutely. Does that make it right? No, it's a stupid penalty. Why are we calling 15-yard penalties on grown men flexing?
And they, a lot of people was blaming Mara because Mara was making it a point to, support those rules of the taunting stuff and whatnot. So a lot of people are looking at Mara like, you see what you got?
I remember that. Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. What a day.
Now, let me ask you this, okay? Do you, as a fan base, because I've been gauging, and shout out to everybody who's watching right now here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. We got 85 people with us right now.
Big shout out to y'all.
I wonder, I think because you guys were in the lead, this game feels more of a loss and a tie to the Giants than it does for Washington.
Let me ask you this before you ask me something. How are you feeling as the Giants got the ball back and stuff like that, with, driving just a little bit, trying to get in the field goal range? Did you feel like sneaking out with the tie was going to be a blessing for y'all?
Listen, there was, and I'm sitting there with Josie at this point, excuse me, and she's like, it's going to be a tie. I was like, there's 29 seconds left. That's you already know my mentality as a Washington fan, because I'm sitting here. I thought that we were going to lose that game for about, and shout out to the Awthentik and the Beard tweet team. Multitasking is something that we're really good at here.
Big facts.
But I thought we were going to lose that game for about 2 quarters and an overtime. I did, just because the way that the vibe of the game, the feel of the game, it was just like, you know how you talk about the windows all the time, right?
Yep.
That's how I am with Washington. It's just like, and I'm watching like Cincinnati and Kansas City right now, Miami and San Francisco. There's a lot of good teams playing football right now. Chargers, Raiders. Raiders don't have a good record, but
Packers today.
They can put up the points.
Yeah. Somebody said that when the Giants get to 20, they just go, screw it. We don't want to score no more points.
We're here. We made it.
Yeah, we made it.
Look how we made it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that, like, so for me, those opportunities and missed opportunities, they mean so much more. Every penalty, every yard, every drop, every bad throw is magnified when you play for the Washington Commanders or the New York Giants. It's completely different than if you play for the Dallas Cowboys or Philadelphia Eagles. As good as this division is and as close as we are, and, every week that goes by, the Eagles win, and I see that one loss, I say, damn.
It's crazy. And they look amazing today. I told you about Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown, I almost treated you, but I was too immersed in the game to be doing side tweets at that time.
There was so much fantasy parlay stuff going on today that I wanted to tweet out, but I was just like, I'm so frustrated right now. Another key point in this game, another window, was when y'all missed the field goal, man. Like, the field position that the Giants have there when you miss the field goal, like, we go 3 and out. Around midfield, you're going 3 and out. Like, y'all can't just dial up something. There were some of these plays. I remember there was one bootleg in particular where I saw Daniel Jones. The leverage for your defender who was trying to seal the edge when he was booting to his right was clearly there. Like, the boot is not there. But it seems like these coaches are telling him, make sure you get all the way outside the pocket. He wastes like 2 or 3 seconds trying to just loop out and get that positioning on the outside so that your defender can't seal the edge. And then it's just an incompletion. I'm just looking at it like, what kind of play calling is this? Like, what are y'all trying to draft? Every drive should be methodical in a way. Like, how do you want to end this drive? Obviously, everybody wants to end the drive with a touchdown, right? But you got to think about the pace of the game and how are you going to try to, truck down the field. And it just seems like the Giants are like winning it. Yeah. They're playing checkers. They're literally playing checkers.
This is the world championship of checkers here.
And if there's any moment that says they're playing checkers, 14 seconds left before the half, 3rd and 1, and I'm gonna call them this. Y'all dumbasses are trying to get a first down here, because y'all weren't thinking touchdown there. Y'all are thinking, let's run a quarterback draw, and no one said why are y'all running a quarterback draw with 14 seconds left, no timeouts? The Giants got to hurry up to, spike the ball and whatnot. It's like, who's drafting this and who's thinking this? I thought Brian Dable was an offensive mastermind here when he was in Buffalo. If you get that call in the headset, man, I'm liable to be like, hey, man, take a penalty or some shit. We're going to run a better play here.
I'm Willie beaming it.
I'm definitely running that.
Forget what Al Pacino says.
Right.
This what we running, okay?
Joe Kane. Forget that, dog.
Big shout out to Lex. Fo for the $4.99 super chat says, I think he was flexing at Slayton, but why do you run 10 yards and flex at him? You know these refs are calling everything. Don't even risk it.
It's because we're the New York Giants, man. It's because we're the New York Giants. And I'm looking at the gnome. He's looking right at me. I was going to take some pictures of him because I thought we had this game in the bag. I even brought the gnome upstairs, Beard. I brought it upstairs because I wanted to watch the game live on the television, right? So I went upstairs to the living room to watch the game, and I said, Gnome, you coming with me. I put him right up on the coffee table. I'm like, get my cameras ready. I'm sure you've seen Rocky IV, Apollo Creed. Hey, get your cameras ready because the knockout's getting ready to come. I felt the knockout. I felt it. I was like, they're giving us way too many opportunities. We got 3, 4, 5 opportunities to put up a damn field goal to make this a 2-score game late. It never came. I'm not blaming that on this gnome, though, man. The gnome is you sticking around because if the New York Giants are going to continuously blow games like this and not put the ball in the hands of the players, the only players that can make the play, I can't blame this on nobody but this coaching staff.
I have to give a big shout out to Ray. This might be one of the best comments of the day. This game reminded me of when 2 old people are trying to figure out their cell phone.
Oh, my God. That is 100 the comment of the day. Shout out to Ray W one time because that is spot on right there. That is spot on right there. This game was ridiculous. I couldn't – and it's so crazy because me and the Beard, both of our scores were so similarly projected for this game. I said 23-21, and what did you say again? You said 24-21, I think?
I think I said 23-20 maybe or 20.
Or you might have said 23-20, which it was like a field goal away from it being that. For this to end in a tie, man, it's just the last thing I thought. That was the last thing that was on my mind, especially in the fourth quarter of this game where I'm just like, I'm texting with Patrick, and I'm like, ooh, another opportunity, bro. Another window. Why have the Giants been this same team for so long? I've brought back on the Giant overreaction so many times that Raiders game, right? Because I always look at that game as one of the ones we were so lucky to get out of that game with a W because we literally had so many opportunities to push that game to a 2-score lead. And I'm talking about 2021 for those that don't know. I always bring up this Raiders game. Daniel Jones went down on the first drive, throws a fade route to Evan Ingram for a touchdown. And then after that, we just couldn't throw the ball the whole entire game. We relied on Devontae Booker through that whole game, just ran the rock, controlled that game, but we just couldn't push it to the 2-score lead. So many opportunities in that game. And this one, this is the worst I've ever seen, man. I've never seen the New York Giants go back to back to back to back to back to back to back punts like this. 21 yards?
Excuse me. You do have to, obviously, the Washington's defense is good for a reason. And I'm sure
for sure.
For those of you that don't watch, now you kind of have an idea. And this was not like a dominant performance by the Washington defense by any means. But, like you saw what makes the Washington defense good. The problem is that Washington and New York, maybe it's because let me tell you before I continue this point. Actually, I'm going to continue this point first, and then I'm going to tell you. The injuries today in the National Football League have been horrendously widespread. Kenneth Walker is out and will not return.
Yep. Lamar Jackson.
Half of my starting lineup is gone out of fantasy from this week. But, yeah, it's tough. I mean, I thought Trevor Lawrence was done for the year, but he came back into that game. I mean, right. I don't know if you saw that sack, but I mean, his leg looked like it snapped.
I didn't see it.
It's nasty looking. I'm surprised. I could not believe it. But the thing is that, excuse me, Washington and New York haven't been in the mix for so long, and here we are, week 13, right? And we're both in the playoffs technically right now. Like we're in the playoff position.
Yeah.
You are not there's a good chance that both of us make the playoffs. I strongly believe that, okay? Now, you cannot succeed in the playoffs or the last weeks of the season going against Cowboys, Eagles, San Francisco 49ers for us, Minnesota Vikings for you guys. There's no way that you can succeed and win if you cannot find a way to finally take opportunities and do something with them. It's only going to go on for so long where you're going to be able to escape a game with a win or a tie by scoring 20 points.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it hasn't happened. And it kills me because Taylor Heineke will do what he did today. But 90% of the rest of that game, it's like, ugh, it's hard to watch.
Yeah, you're so right when you say he's like a stoner, high and late, and it's starting to become so consistent. It's ridiculous. Like, you just know he's going to have a point in the game where he's missing the throw, and it's going to cost you all. And then also, you just the rest of that team, man, around him, the penalties, the holding calls, the offsides from Logan Thomas. You're stalling drives out that literally look like they're on their way to the end zone, and you're stalling these drives out, setting up Taylor Heineke. And man, early on in this game, bro, the New York Giants, they definitely lived up to the theme that they have had all season long. It's the one blemish I think that Wink Martindale has. 3rd and long, we are awful. We are the worst defense in the whole entire damn league when it's 3rd and 20, 3rd and 15. Somehow these teams find a way to run a screenplay that it's dead obvious it's coming, and you guys get these blockers out in front, and there was one of them there that came down to a 4th and 1 and that y'all punted, and I was just like, thank you, God, they didn't go for it there. Because it was like a 3rd and 18. I know
what you're talking about. Yeah, the Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, on the little short route, the little short screen. It's just like, you know where this is going. I just don't understand it.
And big shout out to John for the $10 super chat. Says, on a positive note, Aziz looked very good. He instantly upgraded our front four, but we definitely need to address our linebackers. I don't put this game on DJ. He kept us in the game with his legs. Slayton's drop hurt.
Yeah, I agree with most of this here. I think that the one thing you can blame on Daniel Jones is the fumble. The fumble is terrible. You're moving the ball. Offense is doing everything on that first drive. I'm looking at it like, here we go. We're going to get an early lead. I was telling my homie Patrick the whole game, I said, this cannot come down to what happened in the Dallas Cowboys game because the Washington Commanders are going to get the ball at the half. You do not want to let them finish out the half and score. And when you look at drives like that, an opening drive is so important when you're not getting the ball at the half. You got to find a way to put up points on the board. And then we blink and the Commanders go up 10-0. Outside of that, Daniel Jones played a fantastic game. The coaches took the ball out of his hands. They took the ball, and I still want to see the play to Slayton from the 22-man cam because, to me, if he makes the catch, it's a spectacular catch. I stood up when he got his hands on the ball. That he couldn't tuck it away and make that catch, it's awful. And the narrative is going to spread even more that Darius Slayton just don't got the hands. He got himself in position to make a big play.
Especially when the broadcast shows his drop rate percentage right after.
Right after. Yeah, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
Shout out to Lax0Fo for the $4.99 super chat. Says also 3rd or 4th and like 15, and we let Samuel get wide open for a 25-yard gain. Plays like that are why we deserve to lose. And you know what's crazy? The Giants, for a majority of this game, dominated, not just offensively, but defensively in the 3rd down statistics.
It's so unfortunate that those big plays like that, those are the ones you can't get off the field. And they made up for it late, man. This defense down the stretch, they're the reason why this game ended up being a tie.
Absolutely. I mean, we talked about the Thibodeau play, and, you know, I'm right there with you as far as, you know, the strip sack sort of situation. But, I mean, that's a game-changing play because right there, it sets that entire drive back. You're literally at that point at the next play. I'm like, there comes a safety right now.
And you know what I was thinking? I was like, man, send the house. And the Giants played that. I saw your timid.
Tweet.
They played it timid, man.
And then they really ran the ball right at the gut after that.
Yep, right off the left guard, and Brian Robinson picks up a first down. You know, it just these little key moments. You know, the urgency that I feel when I see the windows of opportunities to put a game away, I really keep my eyes on that during the game. I literally count because I'm waiting for the Daniel Jones moment. I said, when he got the second opportunity, I said, Daniel Jones, go make this moment your bitch 3 and out. That tweet lived for like a good 30 seconds before we was 3 and out. I'm just like, can y'all put this kid in a position to try to make the right plays? It's so unfortunate. And then when you look at the box score here a little bit, y'all ran 82 total plays, and the Giants ran 65 plays. Now, some people might look at that and be like, oh, man, the defense is, you know, they're not making 3rd down stops and all that stuff. No, you got to credit all of that and the time of possession to this offense in the second half not being able to sustain drives. All of those 3 and outs. You're talking about 3 or 4 3 and outs, drives that are stalling under 5 plays and not being able to gain any yards on any of this. There was no creative running in this game. In the first half, I said, where's the jet sweep that we were using last week when you had Saquon Barkley and Breida on the field at the same time? Why aren't we using Saquon as a bit of a decoy? Nothing.
I mean, I think a lot of people feel the same way, Diggy. I think a lot of people feel the same way. But in the moment, for me, I'm not as disgusted. I was more disgusted. I mean, there's at one point in time, if you check my Twitter, where I said, this game is making me sick to my stomach.
I'm still sick to my stomach. And I haven't ate since the beginning of the game. I can still feel it in my stomach, like almost like it's the beginning of the game all over again, and I have butterflies about it. It's just a ridiculous game. And this coaching staff, everybody, I'm telling y'all, we got to pump the brakes. This is not the coaching staff that necessarily is some drastic jump from what we were seeing last year, because we're starting to see this now. In these pivotal moments, we're seeing this team falter every time. It's starting to become so frustrating, man. And shout out to Michael Knight one time in the building, man.
I mean, I don't. That's something that like is just always going to be hypothetical. Like there's no, I don't think anybody has a real answer. I mean, we could come up with a whole bunch of different theories as to why.
It's both. It's both.
Yeah, it has to be both.
And the thing is that I think that they shouldn't be scared for him to turn the ball over at this point. He's proven that he can take care of the football. You know, there was a late sack in this game. I think it was the drive before the last one in overtime where Daniel Jones took a sack. And I tweeted out, yo, that looked like 2019 Daniel Jones, because the pressure's like, it's like Dr. Dre and Eminem on your shoulders. The pressure's right on his shoulder, man. Like, how did he not feel it? And he tries to kind of step up, but good thing he held on to the ball. That's what's most important. He didn't fumble the ball there around midfield, and he took care of the ball. We know Daniel Jones now. There's that whole fumble narrative and, oh, he's a interception, maniac, whatever you want to say. That narrative is gone. He's figured out a way to take care of the ball. Put the ball in the kid's hands and give him the opportunity to make plays, because if he's not going to be here next year, these are the things that other teams and other coaching staffs and other scouting departments are looking at. They're looking at, yo, this kid is 0 for 10 on primetime, and every time he has a window to try to win a game, and I know someone's going to probably pop up and say, but he has 5 game-winning drives. Man, that's the most overblown stat of the whole damn entire season, because these game-winning drives are not like Eli Manning game-winning drives where
they're not
2 minutes left.
Drills.
Yeah, just none of that. You talking about drives where we run the ball, they score a touchdown, the other team gets the ball back, maybe with like a minute, 40 seconds, and the defense makes a stop, and it goes down in the books as a game-winning drive. I'm using my eyes. I'm not seeing Daniel Jones in this offense drive the ball down the field to win games late in games. I'm just not seeing it. So to me, it's an overblown stat, and every time this kid gets into a clutch, big situation moment, it's either he doesn't get the job done, his teammates don't get the job done, or the coaching staff doesn't have faith in him to get the job done. It's all of it. It's all of it. I'm sick of trying to blame it on one thing. It's the whole combination of all of it. And it just seems like this roster of players, there's something wrong. Offensively, there's just something wrong with this whole Slayton, Daniel Jones. I'll go back to Shepard. Whatever's going on with this offense, it's been wrong for a long time. And, man, I'm sick of it. The Giants got to find a way to clean this up. It's on this coaching staff. You got to clean this shit up immediately.
And, I mean, think about like this. I think I saw somebody in the chat say something earlier about how many times have the Giants scored 28 points over the last 6 years, right? I mean, listen, we're not scoring any points. I think, we put up some points in the Philly game. But besides that, all of our highest scoring games came when Carson Wentz was our quarterback. Like, it's weird. Like,
and now I get it. I get why you be wanting, like, you're like, man, we should probably kind of go back to Carson Wentz, even though we've been winning. In a game like this, he'll maximize the potential to get the ball down the field. But Heineke was doing a good job. He did it
at the end of the game, I guess, which is what it's almost like he does just enough for everybody to forget about all the other stuff to move on to the next week. And I think that's why Ron Rivera said
just enough.
Ron Rivera said, like, it's not really about how Taylor performs, as long as we're winning games, he's going to be our starting quarterback. That's what he means. Because there was time, there was a Logan Thomas, he missed Logan Thomas wide open.
Yeah.
He missed a couple in the end zone. His passes in the flats are just like, I put a tweet out, I said, Taylor Heineke just cannot find a way to make these passes accurate.
Yeah, I saw one of them in the flats, a straight duck. When they showed the replay, I was like, ugh, just an awful throw, bro, an awful throw. Here's the crazy part about the two quarterbacks in comparison, right? Taylor Heineke threw the ball 41 times in this game, 275
That's
yards.
way too many
2 touchdowns. It's way too many throws. Y'all ran the ball 36 times. Y'all dominated time of possession, so it allowed y'all to be able to throw the ball a lot and run the ball a lot, right? Now, he was 27 of 41, 275, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, but the QBR was 27.9. His passer rating was 101.2. Now, let's compare this to Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones started the game relatively perfect outside of that fumble, right? He ends the day 25 of 31, 200 yards on the button, 6.5 per throw, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. The QBR is just 31.8. The passer rating is 104.3. I almost want ESPN to not put these two stats together, QBR and passer rating, because a 31.8 QBR is not good. A 20, whatever it was for Taylor Heineke, a 27.9 QBR on a scale from 0 to 100, that's not good. And these quarterbacks, I don't want to hear any Commanders fans or any New York Giants fans saying Dink and Dak ever again. That was the definition of this game for the most part. Taylor Heineke was hitting a lot of crossing routes. Daniel Jones, man, it was pathetic, the kind of route running that they had for him out there and the kind of throws that they were trying to attempt here. 4 and 5 yard routes. And the one time he throws it down the field, Darius Slayton makes the big play. And then the other time he throws it down the field, Darius Slayton doesn't come up with the play, and people are like, oh, God, Darius Slayton, you suck, you dropped the ball, blah, 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 all of this. And then the other one, they didn't call the pass interference, which I thought they could have called it on, but it was so desperate for Mike Kafka, like, oh, man, the fans are going to be on my back about not throwing the ball down the field. Let's just take 3 shots now. Maybe that'll level it out. Maybe when they look at the game log there and they see Daniel Jones passes on next-gen stats, they'll see a couple of ones down the field, and they won't come for my neck. It's awful. It's awful. And Darius Slayton, without Darius Slayton today, this game is not even close. 6 receptions for 90 yards, 15 a catch on 8 targets. So when you look at it, the only 2 targets that Darius Slayton didn't catch were those 2 Hail Mary-ass throws at the end of the game, and that was it.
And you know what's crazy it's crazy to me is that they're gonna blame him. You know what I'm saying, for the drop, quote unquote, their drop. But like you said, without him, there's not much other offense in the passing game. And for me, what's wild is that, like, because of the style of offense, it's like a 15-yard play for me feels like like Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes.
It does.
That's what it feels like when I see a 15-yard pass. I'm like, let's go.
Facts.
We're moving. And I realized, I'm like, damn, we're at the 30-yard line. I thought that was like, we was on the other side of the field after that play.
It feels like a huge play. It's almost like when you're playing at, the park and the field is a lot smaller and you throw like a 20-yard bomb as a kid, and it feels like you're throwing the ball 40, 50 yards down the field, but the whole field is, we're playing arena football at that point. The crosser route to Curtis Samuel was the longest play for the Washington Commanders on the day, and I looked at it was like a 40-yarder or 30-some yarder. I'm just like, it took this long for them to get this long of a throw the whole entire day. These two teams, man, I'm not going to jump the gun. This would be something great for the Overreaction show tomorrow if we get to it, because this stream right here was lit. I definitely appreciate all of y'all pulling up and rocking with us, man. A lot of y'all in the building here. And it's good to talk about this one right after the game with my brother here. In a tie between these two teams, it just seemed like offensively for the New York Giants, we really had nothing. Saquon Barkley running the ball, very mediocre, average. Every time Daniel Jones went back to drop the ball, to drop back and throw the ball, it's like we're throwing the ball 5 yards down the field.
I mean, nobody really had
looks awful.
I was going to say, if nothing really jumps out at you on either team, except for, I guess, Terry McLaurin's probably the one thing that jumps out in the box score.
And then the 55-yard play to Darius Slayton. That's it.
Brian Robinson had what, probably 60, 70 yards?
Brian Robinson had, let me see. He had 96, 21 for 96. So not bad. Y'all committed to the run in a major way.
How many carries? Well, it just, that's the thing, man. It don't feel like it.
Too many plays, man. Y'all, the time of possession was so crazy for y'all. 36 runs, 41 passes. That's
got to be all second half. All second half.
Yeah, and then the overtime period, these teams acting like they don't want to score.
A big shout out to Lax 044 for the $4.99 super chat. Says, I don't understand this narrative that you have to score 30 points a game. All that matters is that you score more points than the other team. Okay, so I'm gonna take this because I'm sure this is in.
Let me give you a nugget real quick before you start to just give you the alley-oop. Okay. There's not one team in the NFL right now that averages over 29 points a game.
Yeah,
floor is yours.
So the thing is I think that when I say 30 points or whatever. Like, when's the last time he scored? It's not necessarily the actual benchmark of 30 points. I think what it is knowing that your team doesn't or does have the ability to score 30 points if need be. I think that's more so what it is, because when you score 20 points, right? Okay, or 21 points or 17, but it's like 6 field goals and a touchdown, right? So it's like your offense at week 13, you want to see more of your offense succeeding than not succeeding. When you're scoring 20 points a game, it feels like 75% of your possessions are ending in non-scores.
Right.
When you're getting down to this end of the season, when you're playing Philadelphia, Giants got to play Philadelphia twice.
And you saw them today. I think they put up 35 today.
Yeah, we got to play Dallas. We got to play San Francisco. Y'all got to play the Minnesota Vikings. We got to play Cleveland Browns, is a weird team. And Deshaun
Francisco
Watson
is winning
like
right now
trash.
with the backup quarterback.
What's the score? Is it
17-10 with 7:48 left in that game?
Do they have the ball in the third quarter or in the game?
Third quarter. Sorry, I think it's
does
third
Miami
quarter.
have the ball or does San Francisco?
San Fran has the ball.
Jesus, I need Miami to cover that game.
Said,
to win my parlay. But the point being is that when you go up against those teams at the end of the season, when you go up in the playoffs, Awthentik and I talked about this earlier. Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are probably going to win that division.
Oh, my God.
That means that most likely one of the two of us, if we both make the playoffs, is going to end up having to play Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. You think, as bad as Tampa Bay may be this year, you think Tom Brady ain't going to go into the playoff game and start slinging the rock to Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Let's be realistic. Like,
maybe we should change the 30 to like 30 is just an easy number to round up to, you know, because 20, you can't win a ton of games just scoring 20. Maybe we need to change it to like 25, 20, maybe 28. 4 touchdowns,
28?
A touchdown a quarter, man.
Yeah, I mean, is that too much to ask for?
Yes. In the NFC East for us, unfortunately, it is, which is just, it's ridiculous.
I mean, I look at Jalen Hurts and okay, I know this is off of the tie. I just want to throw this out there again. I hope after today we'd never have to see somebody on Twitter say, well, I haven't seen him beat anybody with his arm.
Oh, man, I hope so. But you know
what
they're
he ended
look
up
at his
throwing
offensive line and look at his weapons. That's what they're going to say,
I want to say he threw for almost 400 yards today.
People act like the quarterback position like doesn't matter. Like people just act like you just got to get the weapons, man. I know if you're just going to get the weapons, you better do it like the Miami Dolphins did it. That if you're just going to get the weapons, you got to do it like that. And I'm not, saying Tua's some bad quarterback or nothing like that, but
So Monique says 4 of our 5 losses was with Wentz. So the question is, does Wentz know how to win? To me, the team that Carson Wentz was playing with in the beginning of the season is not even close to the team that's playing right now. The defense was playing like ass when Carson Wentz was a quarterback. That offensive line was playing like ass. The coaching staff
was bad.
The
and they were
coaching
banged
staff,
up too. I don't know if y'all got back healthy now, but y'all have a better unit now.
We've still been rotating. Today was another different offensive line unit. But today was the first time Taylor Heineke had been sacked in like two games, I believe. Yeah,
2 games.
And y'all got to him 4 or 5 times, 6 times, something like that.
We got to Heineke 4 times.
So
5 times.
For me, 5 sacks. So and that's the thing is like, oh well. The Heineke hive will tell you, Taylor Heineke doesn't take sacks. Well, he took 5 today.
Yeah,
so,
he did.
You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to the front because the Giants front did get some pressure on the quarterback. It looked terrible in the first quarter, but they started to get pressure on the quarterback. I don't know what kind of adjustments Wink did. I'm going to have to go back and look at it. But they definitely got some pressure on Taylor Heineke, and the pocket started to collapse and crumble. And it was very, pleasing to see that from our front. But then the problem for me was, especially in the first half, it seemed like we could never get any yards for loss when y'all ran the ball. That really bothered me. Every time y'all ran the ball, and I want to go back and look at this. I'm going to look at the play-by-play and check. I feel like y'all had no runs behind the line of scrimmage that were stopped behind the line of scrimmage for y'all. Like, everything was positive chunks for the Washington Commanders on this one all day long. And to get to what Monique is saying here about, maybe he doesn't know how to win, I got to agree with the Beard on this too, because for one, that offensive line looked terrible when Wentz was there. Now, Heineke does give you the ability to be able to maneuver and do some things and be able to, extend some plays and stuff like that. But Wentz is the better quarterback. I'm going to say that. But the team rallies behind Taylor Heineke more. And that's unfortunate.
You can't ignore it. You can't ignore it either. And like I said, it's like he does this magic. There's no rhyme or reason, right? But I'm like, dude, I need you to take a little bit of that, put it in one of those little hocus pocus patches with the strings,
like the water bottles that Bobby Boucher had in Waterboy. You pull it out the pouch and it's blue and it's magic right there.
Save that for week 15, 16 playoffs, maybe, But it's tough because you can't go. I don't want to go to Wentz because if we go to Wentz, that means we lose.
Yeah,
we're lose to get to him. You know what I'm saying?
Now they said as long as Taylor Heineke's playing winning football. Now that's
why I don't want to. Well, yeah, we didn't lose.
Yeah, you didn't lose it either, though.
And at one point, though, on Twitter, I did see. I said, "Man, I wonder what happens after this bye week. When things weren't looking so good, like we looked like we were going to lose." Because at one point, I looked at these two quarterbacks. I said, "Man, this is pitiful." At least Daniel Jones has like a 90%, 95% completion percentage.
Yeah.
It was like 15 of 16 for like 160. Taylor Heineke was like 11 of 22 for 146, and they both had a touchdown. I'm like, what is this?
Right around that time, I tweeted out, if y'all don't get some pressure on this average quarterback, I'm going to lose my mind. And John Lane tweeted back to me and he said, trust me, we're thinking the exact same thing over here in Washington. I thought that was hilarious. But I want to bring up something that Sal says right here. Shout out to Sal, man, Sal is like the numbers guy to me on Twitter, man. This dude really knows his ball. I got to get him to come feature on one of our shows sometime shortly because I want to bring him on and just showcase him a bit, man, because he knows a lot about the game. He says here, the game should have been over on that pass to Slayton. He has 5+ yards of separation and nothing but end zone in front of him. I want to know, Sal, if you're still in the chat, I want to know more what you're implying here. Do you think that he has to make the catch, or are we talking about the accuracy of the throw here? He also says he should have maybe caught it. Maybe this elaborates on it. He should have maybe caught it, but that's an awful throw in a game-winning spot. When is enough of this type of QB play? Okay, so you made your point there, Sal. I appreciate you making that right there. And I'm blessed to know that I'm not alone on this one because I do want to look at the 22-man cam because it does look like the play kind of broke down a bit because there's no way that Darius Slayton should be standing in the middle of the field 45 yards down the field just standing there looking like his best impersonation of David Tyree. Something went wrong on this play, and I want to see it, right? When I do, I'm going to really give y'all a clear assessment of it. But to me, when I looked at this live, it just looked like a high throw. It just, and I'm not saying it's not catchable. I agree with exactly what Sal is saying here. And people was jumping into my mentions going crazy when somebody said, why don't they give Daniel Jones the opportunity to make the throw here? And I said, well, he kind of had the opportunity on the last drive there and the throw was high. And people were just like, I ain't going to say people, two people in particular, you're a Daniel Jones hater. Then one of them didn't even follow me. And I'm like, if you just look at the tweets that I was saying during the game, I was riding with Daniel Jones in this game. Every opportunity that came, I'm just like, yo, Daniel, go out there and go do it. Big run here, big play here. He was doing some things. But when the moment is there for you, like it was on this play, and if I go back and I see Slayton has 4 or 5 yards of separation and the ball is high, it's a long throw. It's a long throw. But this is the NFL, man. This is the NFL. And this is another week that we're looking at a throw that's a little bit off target that causes your wide receiver to have to pull out a nice trick out his bag to make a very difficult catch. To me, watching this one live, and this is just my now reaction, I really don't even care if people harp on this, clip it up, chop it up. You can even email the graphics department and tell them to clip it up for you. We'll clip it up for you. To me, that just looked like a bit of an inaccurate throw, and the difficulty on the catch was like a 9 out of 10. You saw a guy, when you see them at the combine do their vertical and they jump up and they hit those little ladder, them little things that you got to flick up? That's what it looked like to me.
I usually get the top one.
Are you using a trampoline when you do that drill?
No. listen, I've grabbed dollar bills off the top of backboards before, man.
Shot out above the rim. Okay, so you that's how you going. You going Earl, or was it Earl Manigault? You hitting the top of the backboard.
I'm catching the ball.
Nah, you know
No,
that's
I mean,
a lie.
listen, this you got, especially the way you saw me last.
Oh yeah,
we'll talk about that.
Yeah, you did try to dunk the goalpost when we was out there filming some footage, and it turned into a layup real quickly.
Yeah, finger roll, baby. No, I mean, listen, you have to think though too. He was covered also. It's not like he was wide open. I mean,
Right.
not to say covered, but there was a defender there. It's not like he was wide open and Daniel Jones missed him, or he was wide open and he dropped the ball. Daniel Jones is under pressure. Slayton had somebody next to him. You know, there's a lot going on in that play. And
I almost want to just go back and look at least the broadcast version of it live right now. Like, for real, man. Like,
and look, hey, this is a great point, Ash. Great point. Daniel Jones could throw a pass from the moon. If it hits his receiver's hands, people still going to say he got to catch it.
people really run with that narrative, bro. People
Big
really run with that
shout out.
narrative that if it touches your fingers, you got to make the catch. And yeah,
We
it's the
used to
NFL.
be like that.
Yeah, I used to be like that.
That there is a line, okay? Not necessarily a line, but there's a gray area, okay? Like, if I gotta, you know what I'm saying, like do something that my body ain't normally supposed to be doing just to get my hands on it, and then I don't catch it, then it's a drop. I'm saying,
look,
well,
I
damn,
always
y'all
compare
ain't
it-
see, I just did the twist in the air and
Everything you could possibly do to try to make a catch. And I always compare it to the Odell Beckham catch against Dallas, right? The best catch possibly in the history of the game. If he doesn't catch that, let's just say he had two hands up. We know it's Odell. Odell liked to kind of, show out. To me, he's the first wide receiver that wanted to flex that he could catch it with one hand like that, right? If he's laying back, I got a better one for you. We know the Odell one, right? But if he doesn't catch that, you can't call that a drop. Let's go back to the CeeDee Lamb catch against the Minnesota Vikings last year. You remember that game where CeeDee Lamb and then Justin Jefferson, they both made, it might have been Thielen, actually.
Thielen, I think it was Thielen.
It was Thielen. They had those back-to-back catches. If CeeDee Lamb doesn't catch that, are we going to go, that was a drop? He was laying on a mattress like 10 feet up in the sky, literally horizontal. Are we going to go, that's a drop? To me, this is a catchable ball. It's a catchable ball. But if you know anything, and these are people that you could tell they never played ball in pads. Those are difficult catches to make when you got to get them hands up all the way vertical. Then you got to jump off your vertical as high as you possibly can. And I'm not making up excuses here. If he comes down with the catch, I'm going to be like, damn, great throw, great catch, whatever. Y'all made it work. It worked. But at the end of the day, the wide receiver didn't make a spectacular catch, and the quarterback didn't make a spectacular throw.
Yeah. And this is the thing too. Okay, so we said big shout out to Lax Ofo for the $4.99 super chat. Says it's a combination of the both. The throw was high, but he is wide open. Debatable, and should have caught it. Debatable. He is an NFL receiver, and it hit him in the hands. Listen, this is the thing though. You have to remember, guys, is that there would be no drops ever. If every wide receiver in the NFL was a NFL receiver and it hit him in the hands, then there would be zero drops in the NFL ever,
Right.
every week, every game. And I want to bring that, that up to right here with what Ash said.
Oh, and let me keep that up there real quick before you bring
Yeah.
Ashes and keep it on deck, right? But he is wide open and should have caught it. To me, that's 100% wrong. It's 100% wrong. If he was wide open and the pass was right on him, then he catches that. Did you see the two throws to A.J. Brown from Jalen Hurts today when he was wide open down the field? One of them got called back.
Yeah.
Did A.J. Brown have to jump up and trampoline to try to make the catch? Absolutely not. If your wide receiver is, and I'm going to go back and look at it because that's the one thing that I'm not sure about is how open was he at the release of the ball from the quarterback, right? But let's just say he's wide open. If he's that wide open, why is the throw so damn high? Why does he have to jump up and extend himself? Do we think that Darius Slayton can jump any higher than that? What do we think? What's your honest thoughts on that? Do you think he can jump any higher?
I think he jumped at he went up to catch the ball at its highest point. He did everything he was supposed to do as a wide receiver. But you know how difficult, and I lost stands, but I saw it in there somewhere where he was saying, do you know how difficult it is to like do a backflip and catch a ball at the same time? Because I mean, like, That's basically what it is. Like, you're leaving the ground.
You got the other one queued up? Because I see the one from Stans.
I do have the other one queued up.
Okay, let me show you Stans.
It's right after that one. Okay. You guys try damn near backflipping. That's what I'm talking about. While trying to get to pass at full speed.
And the thing is when you go up and high point it with both hands and your trajectory's leaning back like that, I dare you to not try to put one hand on the ground because people are questioning why did he try to tuck the ball away with one hand? Are you, you
have to try, listen, and the way that the NFL rules are today, it's like if you don't bring it to your body and have it like this, when you're hitting the ground, and it moves, it's not a catch. And then you have to protect, you also have to protect the ball from the defender trying to knock it out of your hands at the same time. Like, it's like 5 things that you're doing all at the same time. And let me tell you, as somebody who has played, you don't think about any of those things at all. It all just is like a boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, you're just trying to just get up there as high as you can. And then bring up the Ash one as well, too, because I got a response that we can. Ash kind of is leading me into a great statement.
And so here, Ash says the pass could have definitely been better. He should have caught the ball. It's not one or the other. But see, this is the thing. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Because it's Daniel Jones and the New York Giants, or because it's Taylor Heineke and the Washington Commanders, it has to be one or the other. If that's Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, this isn't even a conversation.
If that's Tua and Tyreek Hill, they just
not even a
back
conversation.
To the huddle and it's nothing.
Yeah,
but
they go back to the huddle next
play.
Seeing
seeing wide receivers drop passes for the New York Giants, it comes down to this: he should have caught the ball, right? Now, this is what I want to ask you, because Ash, with this statement here, made me think about this, and I'm going to ask myself this too. From what you saw of how open he was, right, and how things looked, and I'm just saying, as our assessment of it right now, what was harder, to get the throw on target or to make the catch?
I can't remember the pressure that Daniel Jones was under as clearly as I can remember
Forget
the
the pressure. Just think talent on the arm. Throwing that pass and making it an accurate throw making the catch.
Making the catch is more difficult.
I think the catch is more difficult as well. It's the same thing we were talking about last week on 4th and 1 with the Saquon Barkley throw. You got a guy running a speed out route, and you throw it behind him low on his ankle, pretty much on his knee, where he has to spin the hips and make the catch. He can make that catch. This is why I say the part about he should have caught it, to me, is not, I don't think that's that accurate. Because if he jumps up like that and the ball goes over his head, nobody even says nothing. He put himself in position to make the play, and he didn't make the play. That's how I look at it, But it's not a play where I'm gonna place blame on anybody. They just didn't connect. And when you look at the second half output, that's why we're so desperate to get a play like that, is because we're so terrible on offense. So we go back and look at the moments where we had our one little baby shot. I mean, I just saw an overthrow right there in the Rams game just now. Wide receiver doesn't even jump. He just reached out with his hand. It's Tyler Higbee, the tight end in the back of the end zone. He just reaches out one hand. Are we going to say, hey, man, why didn't you jump up like Darius Slayton?
Raiders are Devontae Adams.
Oh, yeah, he's a beast. I was going to stop you, but you was in the middle of your bag when he made that touchdown. I was like, I ain't going to say nothing.
The flea flicker? The flea flicker?
Devontae Adams is the best wide receiver in the NFL. He's the best wide receiver in the NFL. He has the whole thing. He's got it all. He's got everything you would want.
I mean, listen. If y'all are going to drive yourselves crazy,
I think the difficulty on Barkley's is easier. I do.
100%.
I'll give you a little bit on that one, David G.
100%.
I think Barkley, if we're going to say one or the other should have caught it, Barkley has a better chance to catch it. But also, it's a 5-yard throw, man.
But listen, y'all gotta stop living in the worlds of shouldas, wouldas, and couldas. Okay? You gotta chop it up. Move on. Because listen,
I can reason with this one. I can reason with this one.
I feel you can.
Because, bro, it's on the back hip. You're falling to the ground. It ain't like Saquon Barkley had to dive backwards or something crazy.
Didn't.
All he had to do was just turn the hips a little bit, and it's a difficult catch. It's one I've dropped before, too.
Nowhere, all right.
Nowhere
On
near
a
the
difficulty scale of difficulty from 1 to 10, Saquon Barkley.
Scale of difficulty. I love that.
1 to 10, okay? Saquon Barkley's was about a 3.5. Slayton's today was about a 7.5.
I'm going even higher than that, man. I'm going higher than that. Because when Tyree made that catch, did y'all go, if he dropped it, would you be like, man, Tyree dropped the ball? Or if Tyree doesn't catch that pass from Eli Manning, are we going to call it a drop?
I would sure as hell hope not.
He's being clawed by Rodney Harrison. He's just like, This is David Tyree. Just hold the ball out to the ground like this. No, he was on the phone. He was on the phone, bro. And way more contested than Darius Slayton was. But Darius Slayton is, oh man, I can't wait to go back and look at it on the 22-man cam so I can have a better assessment of it. But that to me is at least an 8, bro. It's at least an 8.
D Biddle says 8.5.
8.5. D Biddle, I'm with you on that. Because I said 9 in the beginning of the show. 8.5, I can reason with that 8.5 right there on the IMDb grade of difficulty on the difficulty scale. Straight up, dog. Yo, I just got to say, though, man, I love y'all. I love y'all in our chat because it's at least we having like a realistic discussion about it.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, listen, and everybody is going. That's the beautiful thing about the human race. Everybody's going to see things a little bit different.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, you know, you might see something might look a hell of a lot easier to you because you might, you know, be doing triple back salt, somersault, triple deacon in the air. Where
Facts.
like me, I don't know if y'all saw me like do the little jump fist pump in my video of today because I looked at that video and I was like, man, I look like an old man here. And for those of you that are keeping track, the Rams are in the red zone. This is beneficial to obviously both Washington and New York. They are down 17-13. It's 3rd and 7, and they are in the red zone against the Seattle Seahawks. Both of
now,
us
listen, man. You know the Rams are the last thing on my mind right now. Okay?
I do know that, but I mean,
Now,
I'm trying to make the tie feel better.
Listen, the tie is awful. It doesn't matter how you slice this bread. It's rotten and it's moldy, okay? Now, my man, a man of the culture one time says, nah, I can't give you that. Those throws, those are not the same throws. And I'm not sure which one he's talking about.
I think he was talking about the
Slayton,
Eli Manning sort of situation.
and that's what I was going to get to. So if we're talking about the Eli one to the Daniel Jones one, right? Here's the crazy part about it, and I'm just going off memory here. Eli, the way that he got out of that pocket, it was literally like, yo, fuck it, I got to throw this ball down the field or I'm going to get killed after he got out of the pressure.
So one in
the
a
Daniel
million.
Jones one wasn't like that. I saw, from what I remember, I saw a quarterback that loaded up to make the throw. I didn't see a hand smack him in the face or nothing like that. It was understandable why the Eli Manning throw was high. And to me, this one, it was a farther throw, though, I think. I think the Daniel Jones one is farther. I think it's more down the field. But if that's what he's talking about, I will agree with you. I'll definitely agree with you. Not the same throw for sure. And then, now this, that's what they're talking about. This what they might be talking about for real is the one to Manningham and the one to Tyree, because the one to Manningham is like, golly, Eli Manning, pay that man whatever he asked for. Give him the bag. The David Tyree one is like, hey, last-ditch effort. This team is undefeated. Go out there and just
definition
play some
of a Hail
football.
Mary, basically.
Literally a Hail Mary, pretty much. Literally.
Shout out to Zang Zappa who understood my my reference.
Gordon Bombay, Triple D. Oh, yeah. You already know. Mighty Ducks 2 in the building, man. Did you see the fight in Kansas City where the cops were fighting with the dude on the streets and the girls like
started twerking on it in the cops'
started
face?
twerking on him, and dude had on a Charlie what's his
Conway
last name?
jersey.
Charlie Conway jersey.
I told you, I messaged you on the Twitter, or I commented on that right after you, and I said, man, I almost bought that jersey today because I saw it at the thrift store, but I didn't buy it. I thought about it, man, but it was a little overpriced and it was a repop, but it wasn't an OG.
I feel you.
You know what I mean,
if the price ain't right, you got it.
The price ain't right. You know what I'm saying? If it would have been 50% off day, I probably would have got it. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to Lax 044 for the 499 super chat. I'm just tired. And listen, I understand you. Like, this is how I feel about quarterbacks. You know, this is how I feel about playoff wins. This is how I feel about winning seasons. I'm tired of years of all of that. Just like you're tired of Giants dropping passes. You hope you can find a Larry Fitzgerald type of guy. 1,432, 1,432 career catches and only 29 drops. Listen, everybody
what do they call it? An outlier. Dang. You look at Jamar Chase. I've been looking at the drop numbers, from the last seasons a lot. Jamar Chase, Keenan Allen. And this is why I tell you Devontae Adams is that guy. Devontae Adams don't be dropping the ball. All them dudes, when I had the conversation with Entertainer, shout out to Entertainer, Carl Banks retweeted the stats too. When I was looking at the difference between guys like Keenan Allen, Jamar Chase, Deontay Johnson, these are all guys who are at the top of the league as far as targets go, right? They all got a ton of drops. You go look at Devontae Adams. This man will lead the league in targets, be second in targets, third in targets, and only have like 3 or 4 drops. He's the best, man.
It's a numbers game. not everybody is going to be Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald, let me tell you, because I watched Larry Fitzgerald from before he was even in the NFL. He's special. But, I mean, I feel your pain. You want a guy. Like, that's why, to me, like, when there was some people that were debating Terry McLaurin getting the bag, I said, man, we ain't had one of these. You look at Awthentik and I were looking at 100 reception when we were doing the trivia.
Oh,
And Washington's only had 2 wide receivers in the entire history of their team to have 100+ reception season. 2.
Oh yeah, and it was
Art
I guessed them for you.
Yeah,
too.
you did.
And I ain't
Art
even no
Monk
Washington fan.
And Pierre Garçon.
You know why Pierre
only
Garçon
2.
had over 100 receptions?
Because he's Haitian.
Because he's Haitian. Exactly.
C'est passé.
And I see Steven Arce is talking about real wide receivers know if it hits you in the hands, you got to catch it. Nah, man. NFL wide receivers, they think like that. But you know how many times you running a route and the ball's way out in front of you or something? Daniel Jones early in this game, the little crosser route to Darius Slayton, they picked up like 4 or 5 yards. I tweeted out, I'm like, yo, he almost missed that throw. You can't miss these short throws by that far, bro. And when you get that one play where they go, he should have caught it. The wide receiver's also getting himself in position to make the play, man. You see a guy make a pirouette type play and drop the ball. I'm looking at it like, yo, that would have been a spectacular catch. He could have caught it. Should have caught it is some shit that people say when they play Madden. You know, when you play Madden, you see him jump up and hit him in the hands and bounce off, and you go, man, he should have caught it. Come on, man. Come on, my dude.
Listen,
come on, man.
Also, you got to remember this. The person who told you all that if it hits your hands, you should catch it is the same person that told y'all almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. It's the same person that's got on booty shorts, a polo, a whistle around their neck, spit and chew on the Little League field. Nobody in the NFL says that, okay? Like,
yeah, man.
Every head coach
is different.
That's some Little League high school stuff. It's just to kind of get your head in the right frame of, you know what I'm saying? Get your mind right. That's not necessarily a real rule. And listen, I have been guilty as all hell of saying that in my lifetime as a fan, okay? But as I've progressed and as I've dug more into football doing this show, I realized that there's so many variables that go into these situations. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta see this 22-man camp so bad. I see Sal in here dropping bars one time too, man. People don't understand how fast the game is moving either. That's another thing. It's like the game is not moving the way it moved when we were playing in high school, bro.
Yeah, with the big ass shoulder pads flapping. I know, like right? This when I'm running.
They are flying. They're flying. I can't wait to see what the route was. I don't even know what the route was, bro.
I don't even know what the route was. I think it was a broken route.
The ball gets into the screen and you just see Darius Slayton go, I'm telling you, he was at the combine. He was literally at the combine. Jumps up as high as he can, and I'm like, I thought he had it. I really thought he had it. But he was like kind of like Stan said, kind of curling into a backflip as he's hitting the ground, man. And just, it's unfortunate that he couldn't make the play, man, because I honestly think that's the kind of one I compare it to David Tyree because it's like you're bailing your quarterback out when you make that kind of play.
Listen, I'm starting to get a feeling that there's some Washington fans out there that are feeling like Giants fans. Shout out to Yam in Japan.
Shout out to Yam.
He's just now getting up from in Japan. Oh, man. There you go, Stan.
Why do I keep waking up for this? It's not Madden, yo. It's not. And I think people play Madden too much. And they've seen great wide receivers in this league. There are some great wide receivers who don't drop the ball, and they make these spectacular plays all the time. This is Darius Slayton, who's a 5th-round draft pick.
Yeah.
He's a 5th-round draft pick.
Y'all wanted him gone at the beginning of the year.
I'm not saying his expectations should be lower than the 1st-round draft pick because I'm here guilty of always saying, hey, once you get in the league, you in the league, man. Go out there and handle business. But we're not in this game without Darius Slayton. So I just think, like, this ain't the day that you should, be looking at Darius Slayton. I already seen a bunch of people tweeting about it saying, oh, man, if Darius Slayton doesn't drop that pass, we win the game. Man, the offense put up 21 yards in the 3rd and 4th quarter, man.
That's just, that right there. Anytime somebody, for the rest of the week, if somebody wants to blame Daniel Jones or blame Darius Slayton or blame Feliciano, just hit him with the number 21 yards. 21. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all you got to say, because that's a team thing. That's an offensive team. That's a coaching thing. 21 yards. Listen, I've been there. I've been there before. Plenty of times this season where Washington has. I mean, there was one half where Washington, I think, came into 5 yards in the first half. So I understand the yards and a half thing. Big shout out I was good. All right, I'm gonna get to this one after Lax. Big shout out to Lax, $4.99 super chat. I also feel like with the gloves these guys wear today, there's even less excuses for dropping passes.
He's right about that, though, because, like, I almost can't go out and play wide receiver without gloves. I was about to go play football last Sunday. I was thinking about going to play this Sunday. And, like, I need those gloves now. I'm used to catching with those Nike gloves. And there's another, the cutter ones, the cutter gloves. You can stick them. Beard, you seen the hands out there, dog. You seen the hands out there, dog. The boy got hands.
They ain't had those back in my day. They had gloves.
We had leather gloves back in the day.
But they weren't like that.
Now, I will give Lax that, right? But this is the thing. Darius Slayton doesn't drop that ball in his hands. He catches it in his hands first. It's the fall to the ground why he didn't come up with the catch.
Yeah.
It's the fall to the ground. Because he's up so high.
He's 10
coming
feet
down.
in the air.
Mm-hmm. So, you saw me. I think that the only reason he was able to stick it that high, the ball's on his fingertips. And, man, I commend Darius Slayton, man. The effort, man. The effort. He's out there grinding, trying to go get it, man. He's not about no BS right now. He's putting this wide receiver core on him. He ain't calling out sick like guys like Kenny Galladay. He was sick as well, and he went out there and he had a game today. He high-pointed that ball. I will give you that. The gloves definitely help you to be able to do that. But then when you're falling, I don't know if you've ever played ball, Lax. I don't know if you've ever had to catch a ball where you're up in the air and you're falling like that. It's not easy. Your instincts start to kick in to put at least one hand down on the ground to break the fall. And that's why the ball gets dropped. And to me, I always look at things from the seed. My grandma used to say it in Creole back in the day. It's about the seed. Why does the plant go wrong? It's because the throw, bro. The throw is what forced Darius Slayton to have to jump up and get almost horizontal, like Stan said, and almost do a backflip. If the throw is a foot lower, that's an easy catch.
But didn't he have to put it up high because there was a defender there?
That's the part. Sal is saying in the chat that he got to plant his feet and make the throw. To me, off my memory, and I have to go back and look at it, but off my memory, I just don't remember there being a ton of pressure. I don't remember there being a ton of pressure.
I meant on Slayton,
he's being raked a little bit, but he had space to make the catch. I wouldn't blame it on the defender. He had space. He was like falling into the lap kind of the defender as he's like falling backwards.
But didn't he have somebody in front of him, and that's why the ball had to go up high because he had to get it over the defender?
I didn't see that. I have to go back and look at the play, and I'm gonna do that as soon as we get off air. I mean, I think that this stream is kind of is getting a little bit redundant now. We can kind of put this wrap this one up a little bit. But to me, it looked like there was nobody in front of him. I don't remember it being two defenders. There was definitely a defender behind him. I don't remember that ball being thrown 45, 50 yards down the field and landing in between two people. I don't remember that.
I thought there was somebody in front of him. I didn't know if there was somebody behind him. I might be mistaken then.
I'm going to go look at it.
Give a big shout out to my man, Oozing Toxicity, who says Taylor Heineke has made it up in his mind that he is Josh Allen.
Hey, that's how you got to play. That's how you got to play, man. And he kept him in this game. Shout out to Marquez, man, over there from William Steele's channel, man. Big Cowboys fan over there. And I know he's smiling ear to ear, laughing his ass off at the New York Giants and the Washington Commanders today, who tied the damn game. I can't believe it. New York Giants really let this one go. I think that the Commanders let it go as well, but the New York Giants really, really let this one go.
Please sign Heineke to a long-term deal.
There was
sign
people,
Daniel Jones to a long-term
There were people in the Giants community that were saying that about Dak, and that were saying that about Jalen Hurts. And, bro, you shouldn't throw stones if you live in a glass house.
Yeah. No. Listen. There's a problem. The NFC East is going to be a reckoning for a few years here.
We'll see, man. I think this year could possibly be a bit of an anomaly because of the way the schedule was set up, and it's not going to surprise me if there's a regression throughout the whole division next year, depending on what the schedule looks like.
Yeah. Once again, buddy, smoking the ganj. Taylor Heineke passes high. Big shout out to Lax044 for the $4.99 super chat. Says, I played, but I was a lineman. You know what, Lax? I started out as a center before they realized, I was like Cooper Kupp out there, so I feel you. But he says, I meant the rise of drops league-wide as a whole the last few years, not necessarily on Slayton's drop today. Understood.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, the gloves are definitely good, but the quarterbacks are getting better. The throws are being made with more velocity, tighter windows. You know, the game, look, man, I used to have these big-ass dreams of being in the NFL and playing a wide receiver or playing quarterback, and that was when I was younger, right? And the way the game has evolved today, the way I look at the way the speed of the game is, I had no damn chance, bro. I had no chance. I would have been getting killed out there because the way that these wide receivers make catches in traffic, and even when they drop the ball in traffic and fans go, oh, another drop, it's like, bro, I'd have been dropping passes left and right. I'd have been trying to catch it, looking over here like, drop. Looking over here, drop. But, man, we're going to wrap this stream up, man. I know y'all want to get back to y'all 4 o'clock games, just like the Beard. I keep seeing him over there checking his red zone and whatnot. And, yo, we definitely appreciate all of y'all pulling up, man. Any of the new folks that popped up today, man, I hope y'all enjoyed the vibes here, man. A tie. I cannot believe that the New York Giants and the Washington Commanders, after all that throughout this whole entire week, all the shit talk that was going on, especially by me this morning, that this game ended in a damn tie. Y'all know what it is, man. Keep raising the bar. Keep living those dreams because this tie was a damn nightmare. And the universe flows in Technicolor and surround sound. I'll catch y'all tomorrow for the Giant overreaction. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe. But until then, man, Giants Nation, Commanders, all of y'all, be good. Everybody in D.C., be good. We will catch y'all on the next stream. Definitely Tuesday for the recap at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you enjoyed it again, man, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, man. We definitely need all the support we can growing this community, man. Salute to the day ones out here rocking with us still, man. We got another matchup here in 2 weeks, so the rivalry will continue, and we're going to be at that one. Y'all be good, man. Peace, y'all.
Don't care.